So we've been exploring some of the Battletech mech weapons found in the Inner Sphere, looking at weapons on the very, very high end, AC-20s, PPCs, LRM 20 packs, the mid-range, the optimal, the most efficient, short-range missiles, medium lasers, small lasers, and now pulling this in and building on two requests, machine guns, asking the question, is there even a need for machine guns in Battletech? And it's one thing on some of the lighter mechs where, well, this is true of any type of tonnage. You're looking at the architecture of a mech and you are looking to pack in everything that you can in terms of speed, in terms of armor, abilities, weapons, ammo. I mean, it is a delicate balance. So you want to make sure that, and this is true in mech lab design, every single slot is utilized. So if all you have is space for a small laser, often in the head, or a machine gun with some ammo, you're going to take it. You're going to pack it in. I mean, this is Wargaming 101. Anytime you can roll some more dice, you never know. You might get lucky. Stuff happens. Of course, there's the ammo explosion factor with a machine gun. But pulling this back, is there a need for machine guns in certain mechs, especially the heavier mechs? And tactically, what are some of the ideas? So ideally, and first and foremost, is the fact that machine guns are the most effective anti-infantry weapons out there. Without getting into the exact and total rules from Total Warfare, infantry in a building, infantry dug in, infantry in cover, they're a pain to dislodge. They're a major threat, basically on their battle value. They're a major threat because you can take 4 stands of infantry for next to nothing. LRM, short-range infantry, laser infantry, and park them somewhere, either with APCs or dropping them off on Karnovs, or if you're able to be defensive and deploy, they're a major threat right away to light mechs. They're a threat to medium mechs. They can put the hurt on. When we get to heavier and assault mechs, certainly you can walk that stalker by, and the stalker is going to be immune to it with what it throws. But the challenge becomes based on the spread of how infantry attacks in clusters. They're almost the ultimate crit seekers. So they can, mid to late game, be extremely threatening to heavies and assaults. So we want to have ways to flush them out. A couple of ways of doing that, of course, with an infantry screen of yourself, but pushing that forward from that perspective, having mechs with machine guns, you just blaze and blast out the infantry. So from that perspective, it's vastly different when a stalker walks by, say, compared to a T-bolt, or an archer walks by compared to a Warhammer. Having the machine guns gives you that option and makes them less of a threat. I'm going to sidebar for a second. I have pushed up to my channel Tactica on infantry, but this is worth mentioning, ideally to explore that vlog and podcast, but this is worth mentioning, this idea that one of the ways that you lose a heavy or an assault class mech early is as this heavy or assault class mech approaches, you try to hit it, you try to soak it with as much firepower as possible. You try to break through somewhere. Ideally, that breakthrough is where ammo's located or a critical system, but you just try to punch through somewhere on the armor. It's not necessary to like blow off the arms, blow off the legs, core out the engine. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of turns in Battletech. So we just want to like punch through to that place. Again, ideally where there's some ammo or a critical system, and now we get a little nervous. Then we do in Battletech what's called crit seeking, where it's not so much the damage at this point, because once you've gone to internals, every hit that you take, yes, it's going to do internal armor damage. You're going to check off or fill in or scratch off those bubbles, but there's a chance for a critical damage. You're going to roll on the crit chart, possibly multiple crits for the location. So if I can hit you once that has happened, if I can hit you with a bunch of small lasers, machine guns, missile spreads, and just one of those happen to hit, this is where infantry come in. The fact that infantry hit in so many groups, especially big infantry sizes, platoons. You put 4 platoons, 2 on either side of the street. That stalker walks by where there's a damaged open slot. I don't know. Do you want to roll those dice? Do you want to take that chance. So this is why we see mid to later game when your mechs are really messed up, especially the heavies and the assaults are a little bit open. Infantry have a way to really, really seriously threaten it. So we use machine guns to take that out. An example of that was a recent game of Battletech that I was playing. I was playing a T-Bolt. I was doing a Battlemaster. I was doing 2 Shreks. I had my own infantry stands. I had a Valkyrie. I've been playing the Valkyrie a lot. I've been really enjoying the Valkyrie. So we need to revisit that, especially since we're getting an updated plastic rolling out soon. And I was playing a Blackjack and a Stinger. I love the Blackjack. Stinger's kind of neat to play. And as I'm moving by, my opponent had a Wolverine, had some LRM carriers. They were able to get some jump infantry into some key positions. There wasn't much terrain on the map. Most of the terrain was elevated level 2 and 3 hills. So it was blocking line of sight, but there were little pockets of openness with some light woods. Getting the jump infantry in there first means now there's a barrier. And when I went by with my T-Bolt, now my T-Bolt hadn't been damaged at all. So I'm like, whatever, infantry, doesn't matter. But I'm like, let me stop and let me just blast them out, because I'm moving to engage those other mechs. So right now, the infantry are not a threat, but mid to later in the game, when I'm all busted up, especially jump infantry with their innate natural mobility, whatever jet packs or bike packs or whatever the heck they have in the narrative that you want to envision them having, I don't want that to be a threat. So I utilize the machine guns to just blast them and remove them. And I could have done that with the Battlemaster too, but I was kind of holding the Battlemaster a little bit back. So removing infantry. Second use is the chance to add some more dice. Just anytime you can shoot more stuff, then that's good. What we see with machine guns, of course, is the extremely, literally point-blank range. Now, Rule 101 of Battletech, rule of Wargaming 101, if you're in range, you take the shot. Now, you do have to kind of check heat, but we see this illustrated perfectly in calculating the matrix to hit. So if I'm walking towards you, this is just kind of a question, an honest question. I'm walking towards you. I'm going to fire a large laser. Not even a large laser, medium laser at you. I've got one medium laser. And I calculate, okay, my movement, your movement, hexes, maybe cover. I'm going to need 12s to hit you. Are you really worried? Even if I roll 12s, are you really worried? Now switch that to an autocannon 20. Autocannon 20. I'm at long range. You've moved tons of hexes. I'm running. I need 12s to hit you. Hey, it's a 12. You're nervous. You're nervous because you're like, that. If he does connect, like now's not the time to roll 12s. So rule number 1, when you're in range, you shoot. So with the machine guns, when you're 3 hexes away, you're at long range. It's another free shot, and there's minimal. You don't have to worry about heat. You don't have to worry about expending ammo because you've got tons of ammo. I mean, many players will not load it with the 200. Maybe you'll just load it with 10 or 15 shots to kind of cut down on that ammo explosion, especially if you're firing every turn. Take the shot. So it's a free shot. Tactically, though, how we utilize the machine guns is very much in the same way as infantry. You try as a mech. I'm going to use the Warhammer as an example. Yes, there's heat issues, but I say the Warhammer because it's a great way to understand this. Ideally, at the longer ranges, I'm going to use the PPCs, the dual PPCs, which inner sphere is the best combination in terms of range and punching through, guaranteed 10 points of damage if you connect. I'm going to try and punch through somewhere in your mech. Center torso, left torso, right torso. Maybe it's an obscure mech that has some ammo in the arm for some reason. Try to punch through there. Try to open you up for a crit. Then I'm going to close. And when I close that distance, now I have multiple small weapon systems coming online. Short-range missiles, medium lasers, small lasers, machine guns. Often in tandem, meaning 2 of each. It's not so much the close-in damage that I'm doing, the actual bubbles. It's to crit. It's to try and crit seek. So we see machine guns now, when you're at point blank crit seeking, more free shots. We also see them utilized in tandem with the ability to punch. So often machine guns are in the torsos. You're close range to punch, 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 machine. Well, actually, the turn of order would be machine gun, punch, punch. Imagine you're a battle master, right? Lasers, lasers, machine guns, punch, punch. Utilizing that aspect. But the main thing is stripping infantry away. And if you have machine guns and you have the ability and you're a heavy or an assault mech, I want to encourage you tactically. I'm not saying chase down infantry. You don't want to chase down infantry with your heavies and assaults. You want to utilize them as anchor points, as heavies and assaults. But if you have that opportunity on the way in and there's no extremely viable target, or you're going to do primary target's going to be a mech at long range, like the T-Bolt. Primary target, long range, LRM pack. Secondary target, 1 hex away, infantry machine guns. Then take the shot and utilize it, because you have that to strip them away and to effectively deal with them.